Hey everyone, and welcome to Stock Talk on November 14th. Our group has been incredibly busy working the markets, and of course we're not turning the gears with the markets, but we've been trading with the trend with the market, and it has been a busy few days. So I'm glad that you guys are all back for another Stock Talk. So here you're looking at the intraday chart of SPY, or the S&P 500. So the last time we did do a Stock Talk was on the weekend. And we talked about how there was the potential to move lower before we move higher. Now, from this chart here, you can see that I have a support line at around 269.52, and then I have another support line which we've closed below 271.74. And I would like for the markets to reverse somewhere off of this area, okay? But do we have a signal of a reversal back to the upside right now? And the answer is no, we don't. My ideal target is somewhere around here. Now, you might be asking, Kevin, did we gap fill today? Did we complete the gap fill? And we didn't today. We actually missed it by a few cents. So we didn't complete the gap fill. Hence, I'm leaning towards more downside to come before moving higher. But be very careful in this market, because the amount that it can go down, while I would like to see some sort of balance or stop around this area, we might not get what we want, and we may have to come back to the low of around 260 and retest that area. But that is something I will be monitoring intraday, and for the members, you guys know I have been posting a ton of charts for you guys, so hopefully you enjoy that. Also, you guys like Stock Talks? You guys can take a look at the course. I post members Stock Talks, so for those days that I didn't do a public one on YouTube, I did one for the members on Monday, and I believe on Tuesday as well. So check that out. It's in the description box down below. A lot of people have made quite a bit from taking some of these trades. Learn from the course. So there you go. That's the S&P 500 for you. Let's take a look at volatility, which follows TVIX. Now, we also left on the weekend saying that, well, if the markets go down, then obviously volatility would go higher, and the chance of it pushing higher is likely. And remember, we left off at this candle. And when we look at these kind of analysis, you can imagine, I posted my analysis on Sunday, right, as a weekend Stock Talk. My theory behind, if we don't do as many Stock Talks for the public, my theory behind that is, if my analysis or the general trend is correct, then it should follow that trend, right? Until I see a trend change, a possible reversal back to the downside for volatility, for example. But if that's with the trend, then the less video there is, the more accurate the analysis it is, right? And that's what I'm going for. So anyways, here's volatility. You're seeing it's moving higher. Obviously, we see resistance. This obviously can push higher as the markets continue to drop, and that here the 200 period moving average acting as a resistance that's situated at 54.50. So keep that in mind as we progress towards that area. Can we come down and retest the 20 period? Of course we can, right? Markets don't move in a straight line up, even though intraday, I know what you're thinking. It looks like a straight line sometimes because of the extreme volatility. So you can see sometimes when we have immense amount of buyers coming into the market, into the S&P 500, even in an intraday minute candle, it pops up, it shoots up very quickly. And, these things happen rather quickly and rather dramatically. So try not to let that influence your big picture too much. Okay. Let's take a look at commodities. A lot of things are happening with commodities since we've last talked about this. Start off with crude oil. Now, crude oil, here's the deal with crude oil's chart, yearly chart. And here was my support line. And I talked about how we were looking for support in this vicinity, right? Especially in this range. We fell below this range That was yesterday. Today we came up, retested a previous support, or what should have been a support, as the new resistance. Hence, I'm not interested in crude anymore. If it bounces, great. But this trajectory is so lopsided that, you know, if it doesn't hold below towards my support level, I'm not going to visit that support. I'm not going to visit it, right? Even if it bounces. If it bounces all the way back to the 20 period and I miss that trade, I'm completely fine with that because it's fallen out of my, you know, target buy zone, right? And that's just how it is. Other people might be looking for a bottom. If you're looking for a bottom, great, but you know, you would have to think, where's your next support level? And let me tell you, my next support level is very down below, so I don't even want to talk about that right now because it is lower than where we are right now. So you know, that's crude oil for you guys, and no sign of a reversal back to the upside. And you know, look at DWT. So DWT, this is inverse crude oil. So you can imagine as crude oil drops, DWT moves higher, right? It's inverse. So what's happening now is you can see it's going up, 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 up. And today we came down 5.79%, but we did push up. Now, if this can maintain itself for the next few days, look for this one to continue on higher. Look for crude oil to continue dropping if we have some sort of pattern like this. If we can do something like this for the next few days. So be on the lookout for that. Crude oil can certainly, I know it's quite incredible, but crude oil can actually move lower before it moves higher, even lower than where we are right now. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, once again, please hit that thumbs up button. Yeah, you guys enjoy these stock talks? Please hit the like button. Highly appreciate it once again for all of you guys tuning in, and girls, of course. All right, so what's next? Natural gas, right? So let's take a look at natural gas. Another big mover today. So natural gas was up, well, it wasn't up, but it was up 14% or so, right, today. And look at that. So what actually happened today? So the deal with this is we had a resistance area over here, but looking at intraday, right, here 9:30, here was the start of the day, and by the start of the day we were coming back to my resistance. It was supposed to be resistance area, came to the support, validated that as a support, and continue on higher. So this area, previous resistance, now new support, this, you know, range as we move on forward. But I also have a resistance line at 4.851. That resistance line comes from really a monthly time frame from several years back, and you can see it is a very defined resistance line. Resistance, resistance, resistance. But this is only intraday, so can it cross that resistance? Of course it can. And guys, natural gas, and I talked about this in the past, it's, you know, I find it also amazing how some people try to catch or attempt to catch a falling knife in terms of going into the inverse of natural gas or the opposite of natural gas, DGAZ. Remember on the weekend stock talk when it was like $5.95, or I forgot what the price was, and I said, what happens if it goes to $4.95, $3.95? Like, what would you be thinking by then? And look, we're at $2.86 today. So look how fast things can decline if you're trying to catch something that's falling. You know, so, and herein lies the fact that I think some of the perspectives when you look at various charts and the various time frames and the various prices, if there's many ways to analyze a chart, but if you have the wrong perspective, then you're not going to get the trend right, even though you might think, oh, hey, it's really cheap, it's oversold, I should buy it. But you know, you just have to evaluate whether that's actually reasonable in the bigger scheme of things. And that's really what my course does, to help teach you what's important and what you need to weed out. And if you don't know the trade, don't take the trade, right? So here's DGAZ, obviously down 55%. UGAZ, obviously inverse, you know, up over almost 60% today. So, you know, is this overextended? Yes, but what can it do? Can it come down a little? Can it go to the side a little bit before it moves? It can't. Guys, it can push higher, okay? You look at this and you're like, man, this is so over. Maybe I should take a, but the thing is, it can move higher, and you know that this bullish, right? What can you say about this chart? This is going higher. Gold futures. Okay, so gold futures, we talked about a very defined support level of around 1198, and I said, remember in the last talk, I said, if we close below this level, all of this was a big, massive fake out by gold. Look for lower prices to come. So far, we're holding the support level, okay? We are holding the support level for now. But you can see my resistance level is around, which is where we are right now, around 1211. So we're at this general vicinity. We'll see how that plays out in the next few days. But if we can't hold that support level, look for this one to drop. And once again, I don't expect this support line to hold 1179 if we do manage to close below. So be careful if you're in gold. That's what I'm seeing right now. Can this move higher? It can, but at the same time, this is also in the back of my mind. What happens if we're doing some sort of bear flag right now, right? A really long-term bear flag before it moves. That's also something in the back of my mind as well. But for now, we're really in between our support and resistance levels where we are. So let's take a look at a couple of your comments. So Kevin, hopefully you'll come back. Here I am. Become a member. Yeah. Can you do analysis of drip? I want to sell it. Thank you. So drip. Let's take a look at drip. So drip, and you're looking at this chart. What this is telling me, drip, is that it wants to move higher. Near-term resistance is going to be around $10. That's just how it is. It's around $10. But the thing is, this chart is telling us that it wants to push higher, and that higher prices could be coming. But of course, manage your risk correctly. Perhaps set a stop loss on drip if you haven't already, or if you don't want to take the chance of something breaking a resistance, you can obviously take your profits, right? But that's obvious. If you got a profit, just take it, right? And you can obviously find a better position in the future. But what I'm saying here is that it looks like this wants to move higher, just from this chart alone. And if it does go higher, look for $12 as the next resistance. So keep that in mind. Thank you for your comment. Chris, I'm glad to see you here. Yeah, so there was a member for members on 11/12 and 11/13. So there you go. Rico, welcome back. Glad to see you here. Familiar faces as always. NVIDIA is a great play. About 100 shares at 191 holding through earnings. So here's 191, and you bought it pretty close to the bottom, which I like. But at the same time, keep in mind, I feel like the wrath of Wall Street are upon us, and every single stock that hasn't been punished already will get punished. Now, NVIDIA has taken a pretty big punishment, but just be careful. Earnings can go both ways, and whatever guidance that they give, or if they miss expectation or whatnot, I feel like investors are finding any reason to sell off at this point. Sometimes there's no reason to sell off, and it sells off. So be cautious in this environment. Okay, good. And then guys, everyone, thank you so much for your comments. I appreciate all of you watching these videos. In the meantime, I will see you perhaps tomorrow or a couple few days. We were very active in the trading chat group because there's so much going on. I mean, not only with the markets itself, right, but with the commodities. So there's a lot of charts to look at. It looks like we're getting a lot of shifts and sector rotation and money flowing through various from one sector. So we're watching that very closely. In meantime, thank you everyone for watching this video. Happy trading. See you guys next time.